So hi, we are continuing the topic of understanding the Yoga Karka and the Maraka planets for all the Lagnas, for all the ascendants. And this is the part 2 of this particular class, alright? So it's very important again that you start watching my class from class 1, then go to class 2 and then so on. So you will learn all of these information step by step. So whatever I'm saying, you will be able to understand this only when you have understood and learned my previous classes, all right? So I will strongly suggest to you, if in case you have not watched my previous classes, go and watch the previous classes, learn them, watch the videos again and again, practice them, and then you move forward, all right? So you will become an excellent practitioner as the time goes by. So in the last video, we have learnt about what are the Yoga Karaka and what are the Maraka planets for Aries Lagna, for Aries ascendant. And today we will continue that particular topic. So it is very essential for you to understand the last class because I have explained in detail how in a particular Lagna chart, how a Yoga Karka and how a Maraka planet is calculated, is found out, when that particular Yoga Karka planet will be over absolutely Yoga Karka and when that particular Maraka planet will be absolutely fully Maraka, all right? So because I will not be repeating the same information again and again. So whatever I had repeated or whatever I had said in the previous class, I'll not be repeating it because I am having an understanding that you have understood it, you have learned it. So going forward, I will just take it forward and without repeating or without reiterating the same information. So I will just, you can pause the video and you can draw a Taurus Lagna chart. All right. Means the ascendant, the first house lord is 2, that is Taurus. The second house lord is Gemini for a Taurus Lagna. The third house lord is Cancer. The fourth house lord is Leo. The fifth house lord is Virgo. The sixth house lord is Libra. The seventh house lord is Scorpio. The eighth house lord is Sagittarius. The ninth house lord is Capricorn. The 10th house lord is Aquarius. The 11th house lord is Pisces. And the 12th house lord is Aries. Alright, so let's understand what are the Yoga Karaka and what are the Maraka planets for Taurus Lagna. So number 1, the first house lord is Venus, that is Taurus. Taurus is ruled by Venus. So even though the same Venus is also the lord of the 6th house, which is Libra, Lagnesh is always Yoga Karka. I've said this particular thing in the last video also. Even if Lagnesh even is the lord of either of the 6th house or 8th house or 12th house, Lagnesh will always be a Yoga Karka, right? So in that Yoga Karaka column for Taurus Lagna, you can write Venus. Then let's go to second house. Now the second house lord is, that is Mercury, is in a friendly relationship with the Lagnesh. All right. So now that means the second house lord, Mercury, will also be a Yoga Karka for Taurus Lagna. And if you see, Mercury is having very good houses, the lordship of very good houses. Second house, as I said, is very important when you understand about the financial stability of a particular person. It talks about the savings. So whatever is your income, from that income, how much you are able to save in your bank, that is stocked or that is reflected from the strength of the second house. All right. And let's go to the fifth house. So fifth house is also ruled by Mercury. So Mercury is having two great houses in this particular Taurus Lagna. So Mercury is Yoga Karka. Then let's look at the third house. So third house is ruled by Cancer Moon. And so Moon is also a Yoga Karka planet for this particular Lagna chart. Some people will say third house is not so good, but according to me, third house is also very important because it talks about your confidence in your work. It talks about how much you like your work. It talks about your energy level in your work. All right. It talks about your successful short-term travels. It also talks about your skill set, whatever skills you have, especially the skills using your hand. Writing abilities is seen by the third house. So third house is also very important. Why third house is sometimes looked at in a negative way? Because third house indicates a lot of struggles, a lot of hard work. But those are what I believe are learning days, a learning time period, because only after you go through a lot of hard work, then only you get result. Straight away you are getting result. I don't know how much that result will be sustainable. But if you achieve result after a lot of hard work, sincere work, dedicated work, then the results are or will always be sustainable in your life. The positive results that you will surely get after you do a lot of hard work. All right. So third house is all about this. So Moon is a Yoga Karka planet for this particular Lagna chart, Taurus Lagna. Sun is also having a lordship of an excellent house, that is the fourth house, a Kendra house. So Sun is also a Yoga Karka planet for Taurus Lagna. Mercury, I had already said, seventh house, sixth house ruled by Venus. Venus is a Lagnesh, so I had already said Venus is a Yoga Karka planet for Taurus Lagna because Venus is the Lagnesh itself in Taurus Lagna. Then the seventh house. Okay. Now the seventh house lord is an enemy of the Lagnesh. Means the seventh house lord is an enemy or is not having friendly relationship with the lord of the first house, that is Venus. So in this particular Lagna chart, Mars is Maraka. All right. You can write it down in the Maraka column. Jupiter is having a lordship of 11th house and the 8th house. So 11th house is somewhat auspicious, mostly auspicious and a bit of inauspicious because 11th house also talks about your small diseases. All right. Not so serious, not serious diseases, but small diseases. So 11th house, Jupiter having a lordship of 11th house and 8th house. Here Jupiter will be a Maraka, all right, for this particular Lagna chart. Then let's talk about Saturn. Saturn, what I feel is the most auspicious planet for Taurus Lagna because you see, Saturn is having a lordship of the 9th house and the 10th house. So 9th house is a Trikona house and 10th house is a Kendra house. So Saturn has a lordship of both a Kendra house and a Trikona house. So Saturn is an excellent planet for this particular Lagna chart, for Taurus Lagna. So Saturn is a Yoga Karka Graha. So just one more thing, when I talked about Sun in this particular Lagna chart is a Samgraha, S-U-M. Sam is a Hindi word. I had talked about the significance of Samgraha, some planet in the previous video. Please do watch it to understand when a planet which becomes Samgraha for a particular Lagna chart will be absolutely Yoga Karka or when will it be Maraka. So I have talked about that in detail in the last video. All right. So I'm not repeating the same thing in this video. Okay, and for Isht Devata, as I had said, Isht Devata is the lord of the 5th house, the god that is indicating or that is associated with the Lord of the 5th house. So in Taurus Lagna, the Lord of the 5th house is Mercury, and so the Lord, the God, that is the Hindu God, the Vedic God that is associated with Mercury is Lord Ganesh. So to get very good results in your life, to remove all the obstacles and hurdles in your life, it is very essential for a person who is born in a Taurus Lagna to worship Lord Ganesh. All right. And Rahu and Ketu will see. I'm not talking about Rahu and Ketu in any of these Lagna charts. All right. Rahu and Ketu, I will make a separate video for it later, because for Rahu and Ketu, there is a different process to understand when Rahu is Yogakarka for a particular chart, when Ketu is Yogakarka for a particular chart, when Rahu is Maraka for a particular chart, and when Ketu is Maraka for a particular chart, right? I will make the video about Rahu and Ketu separately, all right, so that you will be able to understand in detail only about the two planets Rahu and Ketu, when it is Maraka, when it is Yogakarka. So again, I'm just pinpointing it, even though I had discussed it completely in the last video. A planet to be completely Yogakarka, so it depends on ultimately it depends on the placement of the planet. So even though, suppose in this particular case, if Saturn is a Yogakarka planet for this particular Taurus Lagna, but the same Saturn now is sitting in either of the 6th house or the 8th house or the 12th house, at that time Saturn will not give good results. All right. Irrespective of that, Saturn will give great results in all of the houses. In the 3rd house, Saturn will sometimes give negative, sometimes it will give a kind of mixed result. But for other houses, Saturn is going to give good results. All right. So Saturn will only give good results in the 6th house or in the 8th house or in the 12th house, when and only there is, but here see, there will not be any kind of Vipreet Raj Yoga for Saturn, because Saturn doesn't have the lordship of any of the 6th house, 8th house or 12th house. All right. So Saturn will only give good results in the case when it is placed in the 6th house, 8th house and 12th house in this particular Lagna chart, when Saturn will be or will become combust by Sun, will become ast by Sun. All right. Then only Saturn will give good results for this particular Lagna chart placed in the 6th or the 8th or the 12th house. Similarly with the 3rd house also. So I hope, so I'm not again repeating all of those things, whatever I had discussed in the last video. All right. So please do watch the last video to have a complete understanding about when a planet will completely become Yogakarka, when a planet will completely become Maraka. All right. Because few aspects I had discussed, when a Maraka planet, suppose Mars and Jupiter, will give great results in this particular horoscope too, in this particular Taurus Lagna too, when either Mars or Jupiter becomes exalted, or Mars and Jupiter has a Neech Bhang Raj Yoga, or Mars or Jupiter has a Vipreet Raj Yoga, or a Parivartan Rashi Yoga. So in all of these cases, a Maraka planet also becomes a Yogakarka planet. All right. Now let's go to Gemini Lagna. So just pause the video and draw a chart of a Gemini Lagna. Means the Lord of the Ascendant or the Lord of the 1st house is Gemini 3. All right, so now the 1st house is ruled by Gemini in Gemini Lagna. The 2nd house is ruled by Cancer. The 3rd house is ruled by Leo. The 4th house is ruled by Virgo. The 5th house is ruled by Libra. The 6th house is ruled by Scorpio. The 7th house is ruled by Sagittarius. The 8th house is ruled by Capricorn. The 9th house is ruled by Aquarius. The 10th house is ruled by Pisces. The 11th house is ruled by Aries and the 12th house is ruled by Taurus. All right. So let's look at the Yoga Karaka and the Maraka planets for a Gemini Lagna. So Mercury, again being the Lagnesh itself, will be a Yoga Karaka planet for a Gemini Lagna. So you can mention Mercury in the Yoga Karaka column. Now let's go to the second house. The second house is ruled by planet Moon. Now Moon is having an enemy relationship, not a friendly relationship with the Lord of the first house. So Moon in this particular Lagna chart will become Maraka. Let's look at the third house. Now the third house is ruled by planet Sun. And in this horoscope, third I have just discussed in for Taurus Lagna. Third house is still considered auspicious. So Sun in this particular Lagna chart will be Yoga Karaka. Let's look at the fourth house. The fourth house is ruled by planet Mercury. All right. So just 1 second. All right. Yeah, the fourth house is ruled by planet Mercury, Virgo. So Mercury itself is having an excellent position for this particular Lagna chart because Mercury is having again a lordship of a Trikona house and a Kendra house. All right. Even though third house is also known as a Kendra house, the first house is also a Kendra house, but the first house is also a Trikona house. And Mercury is having a lordship of the first house and the fourth house. So Mercury for this particular Lagna chart will be Yoga Karaka, all right, that we had discussed. Then let's go to the fifth house. So the fifth house is ruled by sign Libra, that is planet Venus. So I had discussed this in the last video. Even though if a particular planet is having the lordship of the fifth house or the ninth house, similar to the first house, and despite of that, that same planet is also having a lordship of either the sixth house or the eighth house or the 12th house, that planet will always be Yoga Karaka. All right. So if I want to put it in another way, if a particular planet is having the lordship of either the sixth house or the eighth house or the 12th house, but the same planet, all right, is also having a lordship of any of the Trikona houses, that planet will be Yoga Karaka for that particular Lagna chart. So if you see in this particular Lagna chart, Venus is having the lordship of the fifth house and the 12th house. But as Venus is having the lordship of the fifth house, that is a Trikona house, Venus for this particular Lagna chart will be Yoga Karaka. Now let's look at the sixth house. Sixth house is ruled by Mars. Mars is also ruling the 11th house. So Mars for this particular Lagna chart will be considered as a Maraka, all right, because it is having a lordship of a very bad, not an auspicious house, sixth house, and also 11th house that talks about small diseases, all right. So 11th house is not as auspicious as the Kendra houses or a Trikona houses, all right. And if you so in that particular aspect, Mars is a Maraka planet for this particular Lagna chart. Let's look at the seventh house. Okay, now we have to see one thing. The seventh house is an enemy of the Lord of the first house. Means the Lord of the seventh house, that is Jupiter in this particular Lagna chart, I'm so sorry, because Jupiter is also having a friendly relationship with Mercury. So in this aspect, we have to look. See, Jupiter, there is a concept that I want to talk about here, all right. In this particular Lagna chart, you will see Jupiter is having the lordship of the 7th house and the 10th house. So Jupiter is having the lordship of two Kendra houses, all right. So this particular concept you need to understand. whenever a planet has a lordship of two Kendra houses, but this planet is not the Lagnesh. I'm not talking about the Lagnesh. Except the Lagnesh, any other planet for a particular Lagna chart is having a lordship of two Kendra houses, then that planet will form a Kendra Adhipati Yoga. Alright. Now Kendra Adhipati, some people say it is a Kendra Adhipati Yoga. Some individuals, some professionals say it is a Kendra Adhipati Dosh. Now, whenever a planet has a Kendra Adhipati Yoga, suppose, means that planet has a lordship of two Kendra houses, but the same planet is now placed on the in either of the 6th house or the 8th house or the 12th house, that planet will become inauspicious for that particular Lagna chart. All right. So in this aspect, let's come back to the Gemini Lagna. In the Gemini Lagna, Jupiter is having a Kendra Adhipati Yoga. All right, because Jupiter is having a lordship of the 7th house and the 10th house, two Kendra houses. Now, if Jupiter is placed in either of the 6th house or the 8th house or the 12th house, Jupiter will be a Maraka for this particular Lagna chart. Other than that, if Jupiter is placed anywhere in this horoscope, Jupiter will be a Yoga Karaka planet. Alright. So now you understand. I hope you have understood the concept of Kendra Adhipati Yoga. Or some people say again, it is a Kendra Adhipati Dosh. Okay, now let's look at Saturn. Saturn is having a lordship of the 8th house and of the 9th house. But as Saturn is having a lordship of one Trikona houses, Saturn for this particular Lagna chart will be a Yoga Karaka planet. All right. So I have completed all the 7 planets for Gemini Lagna 2. Okay, I want to say something. Some people also say that for a Kendra Adhipati Dosh or a Kendra Adhipati Yoga, like suppose in this case for the Gemini Lagna, even if Jupiter is placed in the 3rd house, Jupiter will be considered as a Maraka. Some people believe that, alright. But what I strongly consider is, if Jupiter is placed in either of the 6th house or the 8th house or the 12th house, Jupiter is definitely a Maraka planet for this particular Lagna chart. Even though Jupiter has the lordship of two Kendra houses. That is what is the meaning of Kendra Adhipati Dosh or a Kendra Adhipati Yoga. It will be a Dosh when Jupiter is Maraka. It will be a Yoga when the same Jupiter is Yoga Karaka. Now let's look at the Cancer Lagna. So you can pause the video and you can draw a Cancer Lagna horoscope chart. So the 1st house is ruled by Cancer. The 2nd house is ruled by Leo. The 3rd house is ruled by Virgo. The 4th house is ruled by Libra. The 5th house is ruled by Scorpio. The 6th house is ruled by Sagittarius. The 7th house is ruled by Capricorn. The 8th house is ruled by Aquarius. The 9th house is ruled by Pisces. The 10th house is ruled by Aries. The 11th house is ruled by Taurus. And the 12th house is ruled by Gemini. So let's look at the Yoga Karaka and the Maraka planets for a Cancer Lagna. Alright. So first is the moon itself. So moon being the Lagnesh will be considered as a Yoga Karaka planet for this particular Lagna chart. Alright. So moon is a Yoga Karaka planet. Now let's come to Sun being the lord of the 2nd house. Now the lord of the 2nd house is having a friendly relationship with the lord of the 1st house. Alright. So in this aspect, Sun will be a Yoga Karka planet for Cancer Lagna. Alright. But always remember, this is always universal. Whatever, just what I'm saying, about to say to you. For a Cancer Lagna individual, you should never wear ruby, because the entire horoscope is a bit watery, because the Lagnesh itself is watery, all right, because Cancer is basically a water sign. So, and sun, ruby is a bit of fiery nature, right? It attracts fiery, rays of the sun inside your body. That is the fiery cosmic rays. That is if you wear ruby. So, even though Sun is a Yoga Karka planet for this particular Lagna chart, even though Sun is forming a Raj Yoga, even though Sun is forming, suppose, a Neech Bhang Raj Yoga or any Raj Yoga, alright, even though Sun is very well placed, being a Yoga Karka planet, Sun is also very well placed, which gives it an ultimate status of a Yoga Karka planet. Despite of all of these things, you cannot wear the gemstone of ruby for a Cancer Lagna. All right. So even though suppose Sun will be a Yoga Karka planet for a Cancer Lagna, and the degree of Sun is not that good. So means when a Yoga Karka planet's degree is not good, it means that planet is not having the ability to give good effects. So under such situations, a person is recommended to wear a gemstone to increase the positive effects, because that planet is very well placed, is a very good Yoga Karka planet for that particular Lagna chart. But degree wise, it is not strong. But in those situations, a person is recommended to wear a gemstone, looking at some other aspects also, especially the Chalit Kundli that I will be talking about later. But for this particular Lagna chart, even if the Sun is having that situation, degree wise it is weak, irrespective of the fact Sun is Yoga Karka, you cannot wear the gemstone of Sun. So in such situations, wearing a Rudraksh or doing the Beach Mantra of Sun is very, very beneficial. Now let's look at the third house. Okay, so the third house is ruled by planet Mercury, and Mercury is considered, Mercury is considered Maraka in this particular horoscope. You have to understand the reason why. See, in Gemini Lagna, Sun was also having the lordship of only one house, that is the third house. But Sun was considered Yoga Karka, because you have to understand, Sun was in a friendly sign with the Lagnesh, because Sun and Mercury, they have a friendly relationship with each other. But in this aspect, Mercury has the lordship of only one house, but Mercury doesn't have a strong relationship with the Lagnesh, that is the moon. And because of that, Mercury in this particular horoscope or in this particular Lagna chart will be a Maraka Graha, right? You have to note these points. Let's look at the fourth house. Now, Venus is having the lordship of the fourth house and the 11th house. So it is having a lordship of a Kendra house as well as the Lakshmi Sthan, that is the 11th house, right? Because 11th house is also about very, very good aspects. It's about the fulfillment of desires. Whatever input you are providing, how much output, positive output you are getting from your efforts, from your inputs, we look at from the strength of the 11th house. So in this aspect, Venus is a Yoga Karaka planet for Cancer Lagna. Let's look at the fifth house. Fifth house is ruled by Mars, and Mars is also ruling a 10th house. All right, so Mars is a very, very Yoga Karaka planet for this particular Lagna chart, because Mars has the lordship of a Trikona house as well as a Kendra house. Trikona house is the 5th house, and the Kendra house here in this particular Lagna chart is the 10th house, because Mars is the lord of the 10th house, because the 10th house is ruled by Aries for a Cancer Lagna. Let's look at the 6th house. The 6th house is ruled by planet Jupiter. And Jupiter is also ruling a Trikona house, that is the 9th house. So Jupiter is also a Yoga Karaka planet for Cancer Lagna. Let's look at the 7th house. Now the 7th house is ruled by planet Saturn, because the 7th house lord is Capricorn. Now the lord of the 7th house is having an enemy relationship, not a friendly relationship, with the lord of the 5th house, lord of the 1st house, that is Moon. So as the lord of the 7th house is having an enemy relationship with the Lagnesh, here Saturn becomes Maraka for Cancer Lagna. All right. So I think I have covered all the 7 planets for Cancer Lagna also. All right. So I think I will just keep it till Cancer Lagna in this particular video. In the upcoming videos, we will move forward from the Leo Lagna. What are the Yoga Karaka planets? What are the Maraka planets for Leo Lagna and for all the upcoming Lagnas? All right. So before you close this video, before you start practicing whatever you are writing down in this particular video, please subscribe to this particular YouTube channel. If you subscribe it, I will feel so nice. I will feel so happy. I will feel that I'm connecting with you all. I will feel that you all are enjoying my videos. You all are learning Vedic astrology in a very, very accurate, in a very wonderful way. I'm giving my best. I'm giving my honest effort so that all of you at the end, when I have completed all of the videos, whatever I want to teach, all of you at that time will become very, very good practitioners of Vedic astrology. All right. That is my objective. My objective here is to convey the real science, the real knowledge, the true knowledge of Vedic astrology. So all of you will be completely aware of all of these techniques, tools, concepts, subjects, topics of Vedic astrology. And all I'm requesting is, please subscribe to this particular YouTube channel, like this video, share this video, and please share your comments also, if in case you want me to answer any of your queries and doubts. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.